Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're doing another original cocktail. So I was approached by Belle. It's a Moonshine company, which you guys should check out. Talk about them in our last video. They wanted me to come work an event with them in Callaway Gardens and come up with a couple cocktails for them. And they have a grapefruit moonshine. It's a ruby red grapefruit moonshine. So I started thinking, all right, what would I like to do with that? And I started thinking about the flavor of grapefruit. And we're always looking for new flavor combinations. So when I think of grapefruit, I think slightly tart, slightly sweet, slightly acidic. So with that in mind, and you know, it's March currently, it's like, all right, what's available to me that is also slightly sweet, slightly acidic, and slightly tart? And I was like, raspberries. So all right, well, let me just try it out and see how it works out. This drink is the perfect example of the sum of the parts being greater, because this is such an aggressively flavored drink. It is ridiculous, but it's so tasty. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. We actually like basil for this drink. I like basil and raspberry. The basil gives it that slight kind of anisey quality, but it also freshens everything up just a little bit more. So we just take one bunch of basil and like usual, we don't muddle it, none of that. We just give it a couple tears just to open it up. And I mean, from here I can smell the basil. It's really opened up. We take 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice, a 1/4 ounce of lime oleo saccharum. So the oleo that we use in the restaurant is super easy to make. We essentially do it to cut down on waste. That way we're not throwing a bunch of citrus peels away. It's just 1/4 of lime peels, 1/4 sugar. Sugar goes on top of the lime peels. Leave it for 24 hours. Add hot water. Super easy. If you guys are interested in that, we will make a video for that if you're curious. And then 1.5 ounces of our raspberry syrup. Now this raspberry syrup is very easy to put together. 1 part sugar, 1 part water, 1 part raspberries. We take that, we put it in our blender. Now the important thing to note, when we blend it incredibly slowly. And when I say slowly, right, I'm talking about how fast the blade is spinning, because if you have a really fast spinning blade, what ends up happening is that you pulverize the seeds. That is one of my pet peeves in cocktails, is either tasting the seeds because they're left in the cocktail, because I think that's super lazy, or when you blend it so quickly that you pulverize the seeds and the seeds are stuck to the side of the glass. They're a pain in the ass to clean. It drives me freaking insane. I hate it. So we use the Vitamix blender and we blend on setting 2. Setting 2 will pulverize the pulp, but it will leave the seeds intact. That way you don't have to worry about, you just strain your syrup and you are good to go. We do add about a teaspoon of citric acid for every 2 quarts of syrup that we make. The citric acid just keeps it vibrant, keeps it fresh. I would recommend looking into getting citric acid if you're serious about making cocktails. So that said, 1.5 ounces of the ruby red grapefruit moonshine, and that is it. So we're gonna take it, ice it down, and give it a good shake. So we do double strain this cocktail. There's nothing worse than getting a mouthful of basil. And if you notice, we're going nice and high. The more pressure you can put downwards on the strainer, the faster it'll strain. So we got everything out of there, and then we just take and tap on the side of the shaker. And then one last, just to be sure everything's gone. Then to garnish, we take 1 leaf of basil and just give it just a very light smack. That'll get the oils going. Right, so that as they're bringing it to their nose, they're smelling the basil, and that's the first thing that they do. So you're left with a gorgeous cocktail. This is the cocktail in the restaurant that people see and they go, I don't know what's in that, but bring me one of them. And then they taste it and, you know, the magic happens. So, and right up front, you're hit with the raspberry, you're hit with the grapefruit, you get that basil up front as well. That is such an aggressively flavored drink, but it is so, so, so good. The grapefruit and the raspberry work really, really well together. This is a really perfect spring drink. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Ooh, that's good. If you guys have any questions about the cocktail, leave them down there. If there's any other cocktails you want to see, leave them down in the comments as well. Don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, and please do subscribe. Cheers.